Good morning. My name is Jim Carr. I'm a United States bankruptcy judge. Don't worry about that. That's not what we're doing today. Today we're going to make you all citizens. And unfortunately, as a result of COVID, as you know, we have a truncated ceremony, not as elaborate as we used to do when all your friends and family were invited to join. We had photographs and we had a procession and awarded a flag to the oldest new citizen, all those things. Well, we don't do that now. Someday, hopefully, we will. What I'm going to do, the business part of this ceremony is I'm going to administer an oath of allegiance. That's how you become a new citizen, by taking that oath. It's not very different than the oath that I took when I became a federal judge, the oath Catherine took when she became my law clerk, and many of the others. We believe in oaths in this country. There's some archaic language in here. You're going to be talking about abjuring from allegiance to potentates. If that makes any sense to you, but that's because this is a historic oath that's being used for decades and decades. But I'm going to take you through slowly, and you'll repeat after me, and obviously when I say state your name, you're not going to say state your name, you're going to tell me your name. If you're all ready, let's get down to business. Please rise. So, I'll try to be loud and clear and cut it up into sections. The other problem is, if I put these glasses on, I'll be able to see this paper, but I won't be able to see you. So, I trust that you're all going to do the right thing. I state your name. Hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject citizen. That I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law. That I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law. That I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by law. And that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now on the agenda, it says I get to make remarks. They're actually the closing remarks. This is, as you shortened ceremony. There are 18 other new citizens lining up right now to come in here and do the same thing you just did. It's my understanding that after we finish, you'll go out into the hallway where you'll get your certificate. I hate to tell you how things used to be so much better, but we used to line up and come up here and take photographs as I handed each new citizen certificate. I'd love to do that for you. They won't let me, so we'll handle all that in the hallway. But I do want to make some remarks about today from a more senior, experienced judge. I borrowed the idea a number of years ago of organizing my remarks at these ceremonies in reference to a memorable event that had occurred close to the date of this ceremony. I used to always have liked to find something that happened on the very date, like a birth or death of an extraordinary person or some extraordinary event, historical event that should be memorable to you. And what I also borrowed from that judge was her concept. It's actually her courtroom where Judge Barker, where I first witnessed a naturalization ceremony before I was a judge. I stood in the back of this room and watched it happen, and I was taken by the fact that Judge Barker liked to make for you as much as she could this event to be memorable, like family birthdays or anniversaries. You should always remember September 9th. So she would try to help that by making reference to some event that was momentous and was on that date or close to that date. Well, trying to come up with something for today wasn't very difficult, because in 48 hours we'll all be memorializing and commemorating the 20th anniversary of the September 11 attacks on the United States. I'm sure you all remember how horrible that was. 2,997 persons lost their lives, either on that day or as a result of injuries that were suffered that day. Interestingly, just this last week I read an article that said that 2 more people had their remains identified using DNA technology. About 40% of those persons who died that day, they have not yet found sufficient remains so as to identify those persons. About 25,000 people were seriously injured on that day. The property damage totaled over $10 billion. So it was a horrible, horrible day. But coming out of that day, for those of us who remember, was a definite spirit of unity that swept over the country. People stopped being members of tribes, social or political tribes, and put country ahead of politics and cultural matters, and it was wonderful. Didn't last long, didn't last a long time, but it lasted long enough to inspire me and others. I was thinking about 20 years. For my sons, who are 25 and 27, they have memories of this, they're memories of a child. For the law students that I teach down in Bloomington, some of them don't remember this at all. For them, it's like when I was in law school, comparable events were the Korean War, the assassination of President Kennedy. things like that. They were long in the past. And we shouldn't forget, obviously. And we shouldn't forget that spirit that was there, and we should try to recreate that. I want to read to you a few things. First, I want to read to you a quote from President Obama with respect to the 9/11 occurrences. He said, "Even the smallest act of service, the simplest act of kindness, is a way to honor those we lost, a way to reclaim that spirit of unity that followed 9/11. Colin Powell, former Secretary of State, said, "You can be sure that the American spirit will prevail over this tragedy." Speaking again of younger people, some of you are much younger than me, I found a poem that was written after the 9/11 events by a seventh grade student. His name, I assume it's him, is Vito Facella. And he wrote, actually this was written by Hannah Schokert. This is how I am when I'm doing my chapter 13 cases. I'm trying to read off 80 names of people who, like you, come from lots of different places, and I do my best, but sometimes I have to stumble over. But Hannah wrote, "Those twin towers, standing tall with pride, fell with grieving hearts, stunned American pride. But we're still standing. Much like Pearl Harbor so many years ago, so many gone with one fatal blow. There are no words to explain, there are no words to ease the pain. To those who gave their lives, mothers, fathers, husbands, and wives, to all whose lives today did cease, may your soul find instant peace. We will honor you in the life you gave as a patriot of the land of the free and the home of the brave." So, now you are a citizen as well. And I hope that you will keep this memory alive as you remember this day. And you'll help us rekindle that spirit once again, so we can face so many challenges we have in front of us together. With that, I'm through with you, and you can go off and get your certificates, and congratulations on becoming citizens of the United States and of becoming Hoosiers. I always note that. And by the way, we have a 9/11 memorial right down the street from here. It's about 4 blocks on Ohio Street, if that's something you want to visit. So congratulations, and good luck to all.